In this video, I'm making a custom build for probably the most underrated figure in the new collectible minifigure series, the Jetpack Racer. I don't think I've seen much praise for this figure, probably because the Wolfpack Beastmaster has taken all the spotlight. But there's still lots to like here. He's got some cool futuristic printing on pretty much all the surfaces available, a very useful head print, with one side having his mask up, and an even cooler dual molded helmet with the transparent red visor. As an accessory, he's got a jetpack, which is a bit oddly built, and I feel like it sticks out too much. I personally really like this one, and can come in handy for custom figures. In a previous video, I made a mech for the steampunk inventor and showed how to build it. Check it out if you haven't already. But for this character, since he's a racer, I won't be making another mech. Instead, I'll be building a speeder. So let's get rid of that jetpack cause he'll no longer need it, and get started with the build. We'll begin with what I call weird Z-piece. Then add 2 of these inverted curved piece under. Then fill in the gap that remains with a 1x2. Next, I'll be using some of these ratchet pieces and add them on the opposite side like so. Then a white brick under. I'll be adding something to those ratchets later, but for now, we can continue by attaching this bracket. Then add a 2x3 plate, a 1x2 flat tile, and, finally, a 2x2 jumper. This tile with bars on the side will be useful to attach additional elements later on. Then I'll put one of these grill pieces. This is where the figure will be sitting, so it'll be easier to seat him and detach him this way. To coincide with the figure's design, I really wanted to use this piece as a small windshield. It's even got a sort of digital display printed in white, so it'd be perfect. So in order to incorporate it, let's add some of these white clips. In addition to this 1x2 cheese slope with some controls printed. Then the windshield. Now, we're going to add some small wings with this bar plate. We'll place them on this 2x4 plate, then add this 2x2 as well. Now, this whole component goes below our build. Next, let's work on the back side. Let's take this snot piece and add a 1x2 plate and a clip plate on the side. This build is in dire need of some red, so let's start incorporating it with some red studs. Then cap them off with some white cones that'll act as small thrusters. For added detail, let's use some of these exhaust pieces, then seal them with this black slope. On the clips, I'll add this spoiler piece. Let's see how it looks on the rest of the build. Pretty good so far, but it's still missing a couple elements, mainly some bigger, more powerful thrusters, so let's work on those next. Luckily, I have the perfect piece for the job, except for the fact that it's quite a bit stained. We'll ignore it for now and add a stud here in order to connect this droid headpiece. Keeping with the figure's design, I'm going to use this trans light blue bulb piece. In order to secure it though, let's add a hollow stud in red. Then some more of these clips in red. By building 2 of these, we can now add them to our speeder. They'll be connected by these bars on the side. We're inching closer and closer to completion, so let's keep going. We're going to be working on the panels that will connect to the ratchets. So we'll start with this 2x8 plate, that, once again, is unfortunately dirty. But anyway, adding this bracket will allow us to connect this 1x4 slanted plate, and for some structural integrity, one of these circular plates under, then a normal 1x4. On the bracket we're going to add some trans blue studs, then this telephone slope piece on top. To lock in the bracket, we can add some of these individual slope pieces. The other side will have a slanted edge to match the black plate underneath. For a bit of greebling, let's add 2 1x3 plates. More of these 1x1 clips in order to add some lightsaber rods. These are intended to represent tubes with energy or fuel flowing through. Next, some white studs, then a red grill on top. Then this slope piece. Once again, we're going to use this circular plate and add 2 red studs, then the ratchet plate. That will allow us to connect it to the rest of the build, and finally sealing it with a 2x2 plate. This elements will hide behind our panel like so. Let's quickly repeat these steps to build a second panel. Then connect them to our speeder on each side. These panels can be angled, which allows for some diverse looks. Although it looks kind of cool like this already, we're not quite done. Let's stack several of these trans blue dish pieces and cap them off with a smaller white dish. This will represent our energy source, and will go in the jumper plate between our panels. which I like to angle downwards, so arch around it like so. On the bottom, we'll add a final dish piece so that our build can stand. Finally, we can add our figure and take a closer look. Personally, I think the speeder matches the figure so well. I'd probably say it needs a bit more red, but other than that, I like it a lot. I'd even like to make a couple more in some different color variations, but only if I manage to find some nice helmets like the one this figure wears. But what do you guys think? Did you like how it turned out? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, bye for now.